Laiatulatu is the UCLA edge rusher in this draft class who everyone loves, and rightfully so. He is an absolutely unbelievable talent, and if it wasn't for the injuries, I think we could be looking at Latu as a potential top 5 pick. But on the opposite side of the UCLA defensive line, the Murphy twins were very productive for the Bruins over the last couple of seasons. Gabriel Murphy is the twin that many believe has the higher ceiling and had the better production, and today we're going to be talking about what makes him unique in this edge class. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys would like to see me talk about in a future video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Gabriel Murphy. Murphy has been extremely productive for UCLA over the last couple of seasons. In 2022, he finished the year with 35 hurries, 6 hits, and 2 sacks on the year. He wasn't a player who produced a ton of sacks, but he continuously was in the backfield and there to make life more difficult for the quarterback. His 2023 season is where he really broke out. He finished the year with 40 hurries, 13 hits, and 8 sacks, playing on the opposite side of Latu. It has led to many people questioning if it was real production based on skill or if he was just picking up from what Latu was unable to finish. But I think he does have some skills to be a very solid edge rusher at the next level. Murphy showcases some really solid hands as a pass rusher. He uses his hands extremely well, and he showed some really solid pass rush moves as a result. He showed a really nice swim move as well as an up and under move from time to time for UCLA, and his hand placement is very solid off the edge. He also has really good bend, and he was able to get around the offensive lineman extremely well. I really liked that from him, and I think he could be really solid in that regard. Another area that Murphy does really well is defending against the run. It seemed he was always there in the backfield, making some very good stops as a run defender. I really liked what he had to offer there, and another area that I think he could be solid in. He has some pass rush moves, he does well against the run, but there are some questions I do have with Murphy as a prospect. For starters, he is pretty undersized off the edge. He is 6'2", 247 pounds, and that concerns me quite a bit. He isn't the tallest, and his weight makes him one of the smaller edge rushers in this draft class. On top of that, I believe he is lacking the ideal length off the edge. He only has a 75-inch wingspan, which once again is one of the smaller wingspans off the edge in this class. That is something that really concerns me for him as a prospect. Another area I am worried about with Murphy is his speed and quickness. He isn't very explosive, and he really doesn't have the ideal speed off the edge. He ran a 4.68 40-yard dash. Usually, when you have a smaller frame, I'd expect you to run a little bit faster, but not with Murphy. That is something that really concerns me, and I think could cause him to fall down boards quite a bit. The other area I am worried about with Murphy is his block shedding. While he has active hands and good bend, it seemed like he really struggled to disengage with blockers from time to time, which is another area I worry about. He wasn't exactly the strongest, and his pass rush moves were inconsistent. I definitely would like to see him get better at disengaging with blockers, but overall, Murphy is a guy that I think could likely be used in a rotational pass rush role. But his lack of size, speed, and moves on a consistent basis really concern me. He is my number 16 edge rusher in the class simply because you can't deny the production, and I actually do really like his hands and how he plays against the run. I think he could be a good rotational piece, but he just isn't a guy I'm particularly high on. He is my number 141 player in the draft class. Murphy is tough to really pinpoint what scheme he's going to fit best in. He doesn't have the size to play a 4-3 edge rusher, but he also doesn't have the quickness to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. I think it really depends on where he is drafted. To be honest, I really wouldn't be shocked if a team moves him to a true linebacker at the next level and he's not used very much as a pass rusher. But I'm going to be pretty curious to see how he ends up lining up. I think he has some versatility, but maybe not for the reasons you would hope for. My player comparison for Gabriel Murphy is Denver Broncos' Nick Bonito. They have nearly identical frames and are both pretty undersized pass rushers. Bonito ended up being moved around quite a bit for Denver as a rookie, and I think Murphy is going to be used in a very similar role at the NFL level. They have similar athletic numbers, similar size, so I'm going to roll with this comp. Gabriel Murphy is not a guy I am high on, but I can see why people like him. He plays hard, he has active hands, and when you mix that in with his run defending, he has upside. But I think the flaws ultimately outweigh the pros, and I believe that Gabriel Murphy will be a day 3 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.